So the San Antonio Spurs really just beat OKC in 7 games to go to the NBA Finals. Just incredible. This has got to be one of the quickest rebuilds we've seen in NBA history. This is just, again, incredible. It really is. I mean, this team is so young, and they're getting led by Stephon Castle, Wemby, and Harper. 3 guys that I don't think any of them are over 23. I could be wrong, but still. It's just incredible, and that's the reason I picked OKC in 7 was because of the experience. I just thought it would play a factor at some point in NBA history. The young teams that go against the dogs that have been through the ringer, that have, gotten their stripes, they've paid their dues in the playoffs, they usually lose. It's just how this works in sports, but that was just not the case this year. And the Spurs, again, just have an incredible Game 7 to get it done. And, man, this series was a war. It was very back and forth. I mean, Game 1, Wemby steals it. Game 2, OKC responds. OKC then takes Game 3 in San Antonio. San Antonio then responds there. All of a sudden, it's tied 2-2 going into OKC. OKC wins that game. But then San Antonio blows them out in Game 6. And then they get the biggest win out of them all in Game 7. And, again, they're going to the NBA Finals. This series really changed for me, though, when Jalen Williams and A.J. Mitchell were ruled out. Obviously, Jalen Williams was trying to play through a few injuries, but now that Mitchell's been out for a few games, I did start to question, especially after Game 6, where is the scoring going to come from for OKC? Because you could see Shai was getting defended very, very well in this series. He was getting defended very well by the Spurs. They were doing a great job on him, making him take a lot of tough shots, and it was just not resulting in a completely, a winning formula that was going to get you over the line. Someone else was going to have to step up. Again, whether that was Chet, whether that was, Jeremy McCain, whether that was Keeson Wallace, Caruso, Hardenstein, etc. And it just is like, wow, I started to have a bad feeling for OKC, and I actually was leaning towards the Spurs in Game 7 because, again, I just didn't see the scoring. And also in Game 5 and Game 6, OKC wasn't even shooting very well from the 3. So I was just like, where is this going to come from? And I think all of that really just, kind of came at us last night. And look, Shai, I feel for him because he had actually an incredible game last night. I didn't feel like there was as much flopping and foul baiting. Like, no, that man got to his spots and just had a cool 33. Was very, very good. I thought he did a lot. He looked exhausted by the end of the game because he knew the situation. But the guy that really disappointed me, and I think the rest of the NBA community, is Chet Holmgren. A guy that's been punked by Wemby multiple times now in his career. And you dropped 4 points, bro, on the shots that you took? Bro, that was a Ben Simmons type moment for this guy. And I would know best as a Sixers fan, like, those moments are moments that you might not be able to recover from. Now, I don't think this was as bad as Ben Simmons, just because that was egregious, but 4 points in a closeout game when you're going against a guy that has been punking you, has been literally talking trash on you, and it's, again, Game 7 to go to back-to-back finals, and that's the performance you give your team? Look, if you would have dropped 4 points and you shot, 2 for, 14, okay, that would still be terrible, but, you at least put the shots up. But it was the lack of shots for me that really disappointed me with Chet, and I'm just disappointed in him. I really am, and I think I'm gonna make a video about this. But long term, where does OKC go from here? Because they're gonna have to make some moves. I mean, I think they might move Lou Dort. I think they might, try to even move Keeson Wallace potentially, or he might not resign. There's so many things that they might do. But man, does Chet need to be added to that conversation? And I don't want this to be one of those situations where, we're just being hyperbolic and we're just being, zoomed in a little too much on this series, because I still think Chet is a great player. He can score when needed. He's a great defensive player. He's all NBA this year for a reason. But man, I just look at this and I go, the Spurs are not leaving. They're not leaving anytime soon. Wemby's going to be here. And if you think you're going to compete for championships, you're probably going to have to play them again. And if you're going to get 4 points out of Chet, and that's, going to be the standard against Wemby, he's pretty much unplayable. And that's just such a liability for OKC. And I just wonder if that is something that Presti's going to think about and maybe, try to make a move or trade him something. I don't know. People are already saying Chet for Giannis. I have no idea. But it's just I'm a little concerned on how does OKC adapt to this? Because this just felt like one of those moments where it's whoa, okay, we are at a crossroad. We are at a crossroad. We're going to be losing some guys this year. And now one of our franchise pillars is just shrinking in a huge moment. So I'm very curious to see where this goes. But yeah, man, I felt for Shai yesterday because he just didn't have enough. Not saying he didn't need to play better in the series, but he stepped up in Game 7, and then Chet rewards him with a 4-point game. It's just absolutely disgusting in my opinion. But yeah, I can't believe the Spurs are going to the finals again. Just incredible stuff. Like, so many guys cooked last night. Like, so many guys. Like, obviously Wemby showed up. He did his thing. But you just look. I mean, look, the Luke Cornett block down the stretch. What is this? LeBron James on Andre Iguodala? That was incredible. Oh my God, Dylan Harper with these clutch threes down the stretch. Obviously Castle's defense as well. And Champagnie getting it going. Like, Vassell, obviously he did his thing throughout the series as well. Like, there's just so many guys on this team. And again, I kind of been off for how quick they've been able to rebuild. I'm a 76ers fan. I would be in heaven if I saw the Sixers doing this, with the Spurs roster, because they just turned it around. I mean, this is not necessarily, they were supposed to be the process, but the fact that they were not a good team for a bit and they just hit on all their draft picks and bang, it's just back, and they're back. The Spurs are back, and they're going to be back for a long time. So I just think it's an incredible feat. Again, this team is so young. I didn't think that they were going to get to the finals this early, but they're here. They are here. The Spurs are here. Wemby's here, and they're definitely going to make their mark in the NBA. But, man, it's just incredible. Again, you beat the OKC Thunder as well, a team that we thought was going to be one of the best teams of all time potentially. And then all of a sudden we get to the regular season, and the Spurs are beating up on OKC. I thought, okay, there's no way OKC is going to go out this sad in the playoffs again. But they did. They did. So there's so many things to think about, but these are just my initial reactions. Incredibly excited for the Knicks Spurs series. Look out for that. I'm going to be doing a little preview actually right after this video. So that'll be either coming out either today as well or probably Monday. That's what I'm hoping for. But, man, it's just been incredible. It's just an incredible run from the Spurs team. Again, first time in the playoffs with this group, and they're going to the finals. Just incredible. And I hope Spurs fans are enjoying this, because this is just, again, one of the best moments in your franchise history. And you guys have a very great franchise history, but this is something you don't see every day. All I got in this video, that's all I got. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like. If you like this type of content, feel free to subscribe. We're going to be continuing to break down the NBA Finals and the NBA even when we get to the offseason, because I just love this stuff. Comment your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear you guys have to think about this game. And TikTok will be in the description down below if you want to check that out. So, yeah, that's all I got in this one. I'll see you guys in that preview. Peace, guys.